Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about joins. Joins, join is a very important concept when it comes to uh, DB2 or SQL or whatever you can call, right? Basically, wherever we deals with the data, fetching a data from tables or things like that. So that time, joins are different joins we are going to discuss, and all are very important concepts. And let me give an idea here. Suppose say that I have a organization, right? Organization tables, right? When I say organization tables, so there are employees, right? And employees salary, employees name, employees ID, gender, technology. There are so many things comes into a picture when I talk about an organization, right? At the same time, we cannot store all the details of any employee in one table, right? So the reason is basically salary is a confidential detail, right? So it's not nobody is allowed to see anyone's salary except HR, right? So in that case, if anyone try to see or access any particular person details, so he will get to know the employee salary, which is confidential. So in that case, what organizations will do, so they will keep some information in table 1, some information in table 2, right? So let's say that in this table, employee ID will be stored and his basically level, right? And his basically gender, let's say gender. Let's take only few columns. And in another table, they will store employee ID and his salary, right? So that access will be given to only this table for others, so that they can see employee ID and their name, their level, their gender, right? So this table access will not be given to anyone except only few people who are allowed to see employee salary, right? Like a HR, right? So in that case, anyone want to see the entire data, suppose say HR, right? Even HR want to see a data of any employee. So in that case, what we can do, if HR want to access any table, so he or she can access a salary table. So in that case, what happens, she or he will get to know employee ID and salary, right? At the same time, HR also want to know the employee level and the gender and employee name. Let's say, let me add this column as well, name, right? So in that case, HR should also access this table, right? So what we supposed to do here? So multiple access, right? So multiple tables. So in that case, these joins will help us to query two tables based on some keys, right? Based on one particular column where that column is common in both the table, like employee ID is common here and employee ID is over in table 1 and table 2, right? With the help of this employee ID, so I will be able to join this table 1 and table 2, right? Only one query I can write, so that I will get to know employee ID, salary, level, gender, and name, right? So that is the idea behind these joins. There are different joins. Let's talk about one by one. I hope you got the idea how joins will help anyone to combine two tables data, right? Just by writing one simple query, right? So here I'm maintaining a data, right? Confidentiality, I'm keeping the employee data confidential. At the same time, I will be able to access multiple tables with the help of joins. All right. So this is the idea behind joins. Let's see how we can join them. All right. So first and foremost, we need two tables, isn't it? So we need two tables in order to join, right? So first one is, let's see what are all the tables exist in this database one, all right? So here we have marks table and student table and test underscore table, all right? So let's see what and all columns we have in the marks, right? So here I'm accessing a database one. In that database, I have these three columns. Now we will take two columns and join, right? First, let's see the columns. So we have a gender, we have a student ID and marks, right? So let's see the student table, what columns we have. Here we have a name and employee ID, all right? So which column is common in these two tables? I would say employee, or yeah, let's call it as a here it is not an employee, my bad. Here it is a student, right? Let's call it as a student ID because we are talking about marks and student, right? So let's call it as a student ID. So this ID is common in both the tables, right? So fine. Now in this table we have a names and employee. Sorry, I keep telling employee ID. My bad. A student ID. All right. Now let's see how we can join. So I'm going to say that student is my table name. So if I say select, let's assume select student ID. Let's say that I just said select student ID. What is going to happen? The problem here, when I am referring two tables, right? Marks and a student, right? In that case, I'm going to get into a trouble because it says that, okay, you are trying to fetch a student ID, but you did not mention from which table, right? Because I have two tables. One is marks, another one is student. So I have to mention from which table I want to select, because some students IDs are missing in one of the table, right? As you can see here, we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 student IDs, and here we have many more, all right? So that's the reason what I'm trying to do here. I am trying to mention first, or I would say refer the table name. Student is one of the table name. So now I'm saying select from this table the student ID. Now it is clear, right? Now also I'm saying student is the table name. In this table name, select the name, because here we can see name and IDs. So I'm referring from which table I want to select the columns. Student is the table name. And also I'm saying marks from marks table. This is a table I'm referring. In this table, there is a gender column. You fetch that column, right? So from marks table, from marks table, fetch the gender data. And again, from marks table, I have one more column called marks only, right? So marks column within marks table. Let's not get confused. Let me write it. So I should have changed it to something else, but assume this is a marks is a table and we have columns with the same name, right? So now the idea is clear that, okay, from which table I have to refer which column. Fine, all the columns are selected from the respective tables. Now I am saying from student. Here I am referring the column name from the respective table. Again, I have to say from which table, right? Table. So I am saying inner join. What does this guy do? The inner join matches each row in one table, suppose say each row in one table, with every row in other table. This is the second table, and allows you to query rows that contain columns from both tables. It means that, so whichever rows are matching in both the tables, marks and student, right? So whichever rows are matching, so only those rows are going to be selected. Only those rows are going to be selected, right? So student is one column, sorry, one table, and inner join, I have to mention another table, right? Marks is another table. Let me call it as table 1 and table 2, right? On, okay. How do I make sure that the only matching rows are going to be fetched? That's where I have to mention this thing. What is that? On student ID from the student table, student ID from the marks table, because we know student ID is the common key in both the tables, right? So each and every key will be matched from one table to another table. Whichever keys are going to match, only those data will be fetched. All right. So that is the idea behind this inner join. Let's execute this. Now you can see only these IDs are matching in both the table. I mean, these IDs are common in both the tables. So in that case, I'm fetching the names from one table, gender from another table, right? And marks are one of this table, right? Gender and marks are in, I believe, you can see here, gender and marks are from marks table. Here itself you can see. And the name is from student table, right? So you can see that, and here student IDs are matching in both the table. Some of the IDs are not matching. Those data will not be fetched for sure. All right. So if we go and check here, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we have so many, right? So only the rows or the IDs are matching, and yeah, only IDs which are matching, only those data will be, or the rows will be fetched. So that is the idea behind inner join. Now let's look into right join. Right join will return matching and non-matching, right? Matching and non-matching. Here only matching in inner join. But in outer join, even they match or doesn't match, it is going to return. So wherever it doesn't match, right? Wherever it doesn't match, it will just keep none, right? So obviously, right, if it's not matching, how does this get the data? So in that case, it will just replace that none word. It means that there is nothing. There is no matching row, or there is no matching record in one of the table. All right. Everything is going to be same, right? Syntax wise, everything is going to be same, just like inner join, right? Only thing is, I'm going to mention right join. Only this thing is going to be changed. Otherwise, query is not having any difference except right join. All right. So let's execute and see how things looks. As you can see here, so there all the records have been retrieved. all the records have been retrieved, but you see here none, none, and things like that. So it means that, and here this guy. So it means that there are no matching IDs. There are no matching IDs. So in that case, if there is no ID, how it will return the ID? It cannot generate a own ID, right? So it is just saying that, okay, for these keys, I don't have a matching in another table. So I will just say it will return just none. Remaining all retrieved successfully. Successfully means matching IDs are showing ID, name, gender, marks, right? So that is the difference between inner join and right join. All right. Here you can see very less means only matching records. Here matching as well as non-matching. Now let's look into the left join. So what it does, it selects the data starting from the left table. Suppose say table 1, right? It selects the data starting from the left table. Let's assume this is the left table. Takes all the data. It matches each row from the left table with every row from the right table. I have a right table here. That is table 2 based on the join condition, right? So very simple concept here. And what I'm going to change syntax wise, only left join, nothing else, only left join. Otherwise on student ID, everything is going to be same except this left join. Let's execute this. Now you can see it is almost similar to inner join, almost similar to inner join, but what we'll do, we'll just see how data is coming out. Here the data you can see 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 3, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 3. But if we go back to the inner join, here you can see 1, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is because the inner join matching, I mean it's in a sequential order. I would say in the order it is going to give. But if you look into the last one, right, left join, here it is going to display 8, 9, 10, 11, then 1, 3, right? So it is because, let me show you that. You see this? This is how the data has been inserted in the table student, right? Table, because this is going to be a left table here. And in the right table, we may have any order, but it is going to matching this first, this. Accordingly, my results are coming out here, right? It is because, as you can see, it selects the data starting from the left table. So left table is student only here, correct? So student tables sequence is like this: 8, 9, 10, 11, and 1, 3. So that is the reason you are seeing this type of a sequence here. All right. Yes, that's all about joins. Thank you for watching this video and keep learning. Thank you.